Hey, how you doing? It's Clayton Tini from the First Home Buyer Club. 100 lessons in 100 days. Day 76, lesson 76. Today, what I wanted to talk about is always be asking for discounts. Now, everyone gets uncomfortable about asking for discounts when purchasing something. Doesn't matter if it's a house, if it's a car, a brand new pair of shoes, a new piece of furniture. You should always be asking for a discount, because here's the thing. What's the worst thing that could happen? Does that make sense? The worst thing that could possibly happen is they say no. And if you're already ready to buy that thing, whatever it is, well, it doesn't matter, right? Now, obviously, there's certain areas and shops that that you can't just negotiate a discount. You can't go to Coles and ask for a 5-cent discount on the bottle of milk. But you can go to a car yard, ask for a discount. Buy a new TV, ask for a discount. Buy furniture, buy cars, buy land, buy houses. You can buy a lot of things and actually negotiate to get it at a cheaper rate. And all you have to do is ask. Now, it's funny. I had 2 clients today that both asked me the same question. How did you manage to save clients over $1 million last year? And how are you constantly saving people money when everyone else doesn't seem to be doing it? And it's a simple answer. I ask. And then I ask again. One thing I talk to all my staff when we're negotiating on land and we're looking for the perfect block for our clients is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is actually asking and not talking after you asking a question. So you go to someone, is that the best price you can do? And then you be quiet. You don't say anything. You allow them to talk and you allow them to actually give you an answer, because he or she that talks first loses. And when you understand this, and negotiation is a game, when you understand the game, you're going to reap the benefits. Now, 5 things what I want to talk about when looking for purchasing and negotiating on anything that you want to buy. Make sure you stick to these 5 steps. Number 1, get prepared, right? Don't just rock up to somewhere that you have no understanding of what that product or service is and just try and lie to them and say, oh, everyone else is selling at half price. Because they're not silly, right? Whoever is selling you whatever they're selling, they've done enough research to understand. Now, it's not to say that they're going to rip you off or not going to rip you off, but you really need to get prepared to understand for you personally if it's firstly the right deal, and 2, if there's any wriggle room in the negotiation. So here's what I mean. So a good example, clients, we've got multiple clients, but the first one that comes ahead my head is a client of mine, Matt, where we negotiated a block of land. We ended up getting like $25,000 cheaper than what I was listed for. One of the first couple of questions I asked her, is that the best price you can give me? Obviously, I didn't say a word. She started talking, it's been on the market for not that long, and we've got quite a bit of interest. Now, I'd already done the research on that block of land. I knew it'd been on the market for 181 days. Now, tell me this, because I'd done the research, when I went back to her, I said, really? So how come that block of land's been on the market for 181 days? I see you listed at this date. And then I saw that you changed it at that date. Now, what does she come back to with me on that point? She knows that I know, and now the simple bluff tactics of it's just been listed is not going to work. We all know that. So then I said to her, come on, let's be serious. I'm not buying it. It's for my client. We're looking for the best deal. What can you do for me today? And then she suggests the answer or the price that she thinks it might go to. Now, that's not where you stop, right? Because once you get that answer, you reconfirm that is the best price that they can get. So at that point, she goes, look, I can drop it from 195 to 180. I say to her, is that the best price you can do? And again, I go quiet and I don't say a thing, and I wait for her to make the next move. And funny enough, she dropped another 10,000. And now here's the thing, because I've done the research, I know what it should and shouldn't be on the market for. I also know what the previous owners paid for it. And I know some of the other blocks in the surrounding areas that are selling for. So I know what I'm talking about, right? And now she's making the decision. And I'm not saying she like I'm being sexist. It actually was a female real estate agent in this circumstance. Now she's making the choice. She goes, you know what, I've been saying this for a while. I kind of think it's worth this price. I said, perfect. How are we going to convince the seller that it's the right price for every party? Now, I knew personally that the developer was selling land in that area a lot more expensive than what we were actually getting this infill block. But I'm not going to tell her that because I'm trying to get the best deal, right? And it's the same with you. You buy a TV, you buy a piece of furniture, you buy a new car, you buy a secondhand car, whatever you buy, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Ask the question. And as long as you're not trying to rip someone off and it still is a win-win, what's the worst thing you can say, right? They're either going to say yes or no. So we got to get prepared. The second point, and I spoke about it, understand the value. And what I mean by that is if you know that thing should be selling at $200,000 and they're selling at $220,000, you've got some bargain room. Now, you don't go back to them and go, no, it's not worth it, so you'll rip me off. But now you understand in your head, this is 200, this is what I should be buying for it, or this is what I can be buying for it. The third thing you need to understand is if you can't get it for the price that you actually want to pay, be prepared to walk away. Because you don't just want to buy at the highest price possible because you're worried, right? And this is the thing about negotiation. You need to be prepared to walk away if the deal isn't favorable for you and what you're after. And if you walk away, that's okay because there's always going to be other deals. Now, there are some times where you are going to lose out and you might have to pay a little bit more, but you need to go back to point one, do your research and understand it. And then you got to understand that. And then you more importantly got to understand what you're actually bargaining for and ask this simple question. Is whatever you're looking at buying worth that little bit extra? Because you don't want to be negotiating over $5 and walk away because you feel like you've lost, right? But you do want to be in a position that you're buying for the best of you and your family and that you're saving the most money possible. And that's why we're able to negotiate such big discounts for our clients, because I try not to get emotionally involved. I do the research up front and I identify what can and can't happen when we negotiate and bring that forward to the clients. So at the end of the day, we are all on the same page, that we know what we're doing, and that if it doesn't happen our way, we're going to walk. Now, point number 4, once we've done the research, once you've established the value and you've made that decision, if you can't get it at a certain price, that you're going to call it quits. Point number 4, you're going to ask for a discount. Whatever the price is that the best price you can get? And point number 5, after they give you the best price, you're going to reconfirm that by asking it again. So what you're trying to tell me, Clayton, is $200,000 is the best price you can do today. Now, if they say no, what's the worst that can happen? If they say yes, what's the worst that can happen? No matter what happens, right, you might get a discount and you might not. But you've asked that question. And if you're not trying to rip them off, you're not trying to be rude, and you've done your research, you know for yourself. And they know for themselves it's all a deal. We're all sales is all about win-win. No one's trying to rip anyone off, although everyone wants the best price possible, and you need to understand that. Here's a couple of points you need to prepare for it, and I've spoken about it a couple of times. Don't get emotionally involved. You need to make that decision. If I can't get at this price, that is the sealer, I'm not going to proceed. The second point, you need to be fair. It needs to be a win-win, right? Don't just go in there and go, that $400,000 thing should only be worth $200,000 and screw it. And you're trying to rip me off. But understand it's a win-win. If it's $400,000, you think it's fair at $390,000, and they're the person, that's where you got to ask more questions. They're the person going, hey, I could probably do it at $390,000, it's a win-win. They've made the decision they're going to do it for you. You've made the decision you're going to accept a $10,000 discount. And let's be honest, $10,000 in your pocket is way better than $10,000 in someone else's. And the last point is get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. And I've spoken about it a few times. But when you're talking and you're negotiating, you're going to feel really uncomfortable, especially the first couple of times that you ask for a discount. Everyone jokes around about not wanting to go to a used car salesman because they're in that little pocket of always being uncomfortable. But get used to it. Ask for the discount. Don't skirt around and ask if that's the best price and then reconfirm that again. Because at the end of the day, I'll keep going back to it. What is the worst thing that can happen? And if those two questions will save you $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, are you really making the right decision? All right, guys, hope you have a really good Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Sun's out. Get to the beach if you can and then enjoy it. Bye.